Age 11. Vacation in Kiefer. Okay. Swimming in a friend's pool. Her daughter jumped from the side of the pool after I had just dove in. She lands atop me and is startled. As she was younger than I, she was very scared and just kept pushing me back under the water. Her legs were wrapped around my upper chest and then around my neck. I recall seeing myself back home in Georgia, playing outside with my younger brother, playing in the dirt, making mud pies, throwing rocks, climbing trees. I saw myself working in the garden with my mom and daddy. I saw my living at that time, grandparents and great-grandparents, the holidays we had spent together. It was as though it was an underwater movie of my brief 11 years playing on the inside of the pool. My grandmother, who had passed when I was 9, was saying my name as though she were calling me through a speaker. I could see her face and was reaching out to touch her under the water when my eyes felt so heavy I couldn't keep them open, and I was sinking down. I remember feeling the heat of the sun-warmed waters start to get colder. My next view was of my mother, who had pulled me out of the pool after being checked by emergency medical technicians. I was determined to be okay and allowed to stay at the house we were visiting instead of going to the hospital. Age about 2021. At home in Georgia, feeling ill at my stomach while at a neighbor's. I decided to make a mad dash from my apartment. About 4 steps from their door, I landed on the concrete sidewalk and began to convulse. It's during the seizure. I felt no pain. I usually never do during a seizure, nor do I realize I'm having one until it's over with when it's grand mal. This time seemed a bit different. It was familiar and felt somewhat like I was dreaming of dying and talking to myself in the dream. I saw complete darkness with a hint of light in the center, as though it was shining through a pinhole. I focused on the light to see what it was when I started to hear music. Describing the light is simple. It was bright, an eye-burning white light, brighter than I'd ever seen, and yet still so small, a hint of it. The music I cannot describe and never have been able to. It was calming, nothing like I've ever heard anywhere before or since. But yet it felt familiar to me, like I should know the tune. No voices to the music. It had no real rhythm either. It just existed. From there, I hear my own voice say, "So this is what it's like to die. It's not so bad." Next, I hear my name being said over and over by a frantic voice begging me to wake up. When I open my eyes, without even realizing who I was talking to or even where I was, I said, "I died. I just died." It was then I could taste the blood and feel all the pain I was in, from a broken jaw and really big lump on my head. I was taken to the emergency room and tried to explain to the doctor there what had happened. His opinion was that I just hit my head extremely hard, and that was what caused the light, the brain misfires. He had no explanation for the music and assigned me to report Patricia. It was almost as if I was coasting, and in the near distance, I saw an extremely wide, really bright light. Almost as if I was entering a well-lit, foggy area. But at the same time, I could see a field. The love and just so much inner peace was so over-empowering that it cannot be expressed in words. I felt presence there. I do not mean that I think someone was there. It was the actual feeling of presence of several. My grandfather spoke to me. I did not see him or hear his voice. I felt him say, "I am not going to take you away from your father like I was." I remember them exact words like it was yesterday. At that time, my grandfather had been deceased for 9 years. The whole experience was enlightening to me, as my life has changed forever, for the positive. My experience was the actual feeling of the love not only in my body but in my inner self. It is very hard for me to describe. I guess you have to feel it for yourself. This my report, Nikki. I was in a serious car accident with multiple injuries. I had emergency surgery, as I had a severe break to my right femur. I remember talking with others before my surgery, yet that was the last thing I remember for the following 4 days. During surgery, I had a pulmonary embolism, which caused respiratory arrest. While I was not conscious during these 4 days, when I saw my family standing around my bed, talking about my condition, I turned to the other side of the bed and stepped out of my body. I began to walk around the room trying to talk to my living family members, but they could not hear me. I then turned, and in the other corner of the hospital room was my deceased grandmother and cousin. They were in a light much like sunset. They did not speak at all, yet their level of sure peace was like none I had ever known before or after. They were smiling, but said nothing as I tried to tell them I was okay. And why wouldn't my living family who's standing there talk to me? I did see myself in the bed, unconscious, while I was walking around the room. This my report, Joseline. I lay down in my bed, I was very sad. I ate little and slept little. Several months earlier, my husband had left the house, and I thought that I didn't have anything to live for on earth. My children could live with their father and his new spouse. There was nothing to keep me here. I had decided to leave this life without remorse, without looking back. I didn't ingest, drink, or take any medicine. Only the will to leave guided me. I closed my eyes. I was in the blackness as in a train. Then suddenly, as if the train had gotten in movement, I crossed rays of light, more and more accelerated. Then I am myself. I tried to raise my small finger. Nothing happened. It was a stage of consciousness. I chose to continue. The train vanished. In the decor there was soft light. I floated like an immense sea. I felt water, the sand, the sun, as if I was on the side of a beach. Just the sensations, heat, humidity, light, very pleasant. There was my cousin, my relatives, and full of other deceased people. They told me, "You are where you wished, we waited for you." It was gorgeously good. Then far away, I heard a voice very far away. I didn't want to hear it. I wanted to ignore it, but it persisted. I recognized my son's voice, first like a buzz, then it got clearer. And then finally he repeated, "Mom, don't die. You know you wanna live. You know you like life," he said repeatedly to me. I thought no in my head, let me be where I am. Then as if I had not accomplished everything before leaving, as if I had forgotten the precious baggage before taking the plane, I made the decision to come back. My son had wakened up in the middle of the night. He entered into my room. He thought that I slept, and he told me these words. After being back in my body, I heard what people thought, and I felt their suffering that hurt me everywhere. I was not afraid of anything, nor of anyone. There was not any more limit to anything, to what I could accomplish. My son began to drag me to come back in my body, little by little. I worked out of the home, and my son watched over me. He had saved my life. Then a friend entered in